Alright, why the fuck? And that's right at a funeral. This is the third experiment. We're on the fourth video. Hopefully this is a short one. We're looking at Shembe's impact on the Zulus. And I'm contrasting because what I've done is basically looked at in the previous video Jesus' impact on the Jews. And I'm contrasting and saying what is Shembe's impact on the Zulu? Mind your language, I'm about to jump into it. I'm speed motherfucking Zulu. If you're watching the video on the YouTube channel, find the link to the Mind Your Language dictionary. This is what's up. Hoping this is going to be a short one. As I explained before, leading up to this, is the ability to be able to recognize or extract principles from content. And being able to recognize those principles and being able to recognize them in practice. Being able to get theory, practice. And this is why I was regarded as a Papa Action in Chester in the context of the academic world and the context of the professional world. It's like, who's this lawless one coming here and fucking shit up? Out here changing shit. What the fuck is this guy trying to do? So now I'm putting it into context because what I'm saying is, if you look at the Bible story and who the Jews were, people that believed they were just mere souls, mere bodies, physical bodies, and they didn't believe in the spiritual afterlife. And the revolutionary thing that Jesus did when he came through was to make them say, look, I'm announcing the kingdom of God is at hand. But for you to enter that, you must become spirit first. So the initiation of the baptism was a ritual to allow mere mortals to become true sons of God, or spirit sons of God, spirit sons. Now, spirit in the context of the Zulu language is umoya. And recently, I have a grandmother who's a traditional healer. When the ancestors came through, this is what they started speaking about. And it alarms me because I've been in the house of Vilagazi on Pepeta for some time now. And I've come to the realization that I am Pepeta. Because of the fact that I'm able to direct the attention of human beings in terms of the work that I do. I create skill platforms. A skill platform is basically a value-adding sport. So spirits come in to play the game, and I'm the one that sets the rules to say, hey, when you come in, this is where you go out, this is how you go out, this is how you come in, this is how you go out. This is what you do when you're inside. These are the options, these are the controls, this is what you do. I'm the guy that builds that stuff. So if there's a question about who knows where the wind blows, in the context of the spirits of human beings, and Bebeta does. And this is how I've become what you could phrase Belagazi's best. So, in the context of this, I want to point out that the Jews believed they were mere mortals, and Jesus came to announce that they must become spirit to be able to enter the kingdom of heaven that he was announcing. And for them to enter this kingdom, one of the requirements is that they must perform a ritual of baptism. Now, I want to jump into the context of Shembe and the Zulu people. Who are the Zulu people? What are the Zulu people fundamentally? And this is what I got to share when we go into my first point. In the modern context, in the modern world, right, Zulu is unique, the same way the Israelites were unique in the context of the ancient world. Zulu is unique. They believe that there are spirits, or moya. When a man dies, his spirit is gathered to the spirit family homestead and begins his service and carries out his obligations to the family lineage. So a Zulu man doesn't really die. That's like the comment that's made in John chapter 3. Nobody knows where it's coming from or where it's going, really. But a Bebeta does. And this is how I know I've become Bilagazi's bastard. Why do I say bastard? I say this in order to point out the fact that I am not a Bilagazi by blood lineage, but truthfully by spirit I am, because I'm a person that honors the name. But anyways, jumping into it, if a man lived an honorable life, his spirit is welcomed into his spirit family's homestead and is given authority and honor. If not, his spirit can be exiled until it remedies its shortfalls. So this is the foundation of who the principle behind what it is to be African and what it is to be particularly Zulu is that you believe you're a spirit person. You are born into this world. You were before this life and you will be after this life. And your function is that you are part of a homestead or spiritual family. Recently, I've come to understand, and like I'm saying to you now, that your spirit family is not necessarily your bloodline family. And this is quite profound if you understand spirituality, or if you've ever had any depth of understanding in terms of what spirituality is. You understand that a lot of the things that are said are illustrations or figurative and need to be the same way you'd watch a movie. You'd need to be able to extract the principle and recognize the principle. It is through this process that I'm able to say what I'm saying to you in this regard. But I want to jump into the second comment without going too far, right? Point number 2, all spirits, good and bad, are pressing on towards Umbuso weZulu, where people who are encouraged to light. So this is what I want to just say. Spirits, good and bad, are pressing towards that Umbuso weZulu. What is Umbuso weZulu? Is the kingdom of God reigning on earth, the kingdom of heaven on earth. People are encouraged. So now let me just put this out. Now this is what I am actually talking about now. Right? Given that this is who the Zulu people are, we have the polar opposite of Israelites, because Israelites believe they're just flesh. Ancient world. Modern world, Zulu people believe we are spirit, existed before this life and will continue to exist after this life. Right? This is the fundamental difference. So Jesus comes to the Jews and announces the kingdom of heaven. Shembe is the same thing. He announces to the Zulu people that the kingdom of heaven, or the Zulu kingdom, will be established. We are all pushing on towards Umbuso weZulu. So the tragedy about the time that we're living in is that we're not understanding what Umbuso weZulu is and what was Shembe actually saying. So it's a bit of a mystery. Are we going to, all of a sudden, in the context of the Zulu people, is he saying now that we die and we go to heaven? What happened to being regathered to your ancestors in their own homestead? I think they say it in Zulu, Uya emtenini. And if you go through the process of emtenini, if you've done well, you're accepted in the homestead. If you've not, you find yourself outside and there's problems. And then you start to create problems. And this is the context in which Shembe came in. So how does now Shembe announce Umbuso weZulu in that context? So what becomes very clear is that Shembe announces that the spirit persons, the same way you as an ancestor are still very much involved in day-to-day activities of your descendants. You are trying to lead and trying to get all the spirits across the line to a point where we can live in Umbuso weZulu, right here on earth, in the land of the living. Right. So this becomes very clear, and I want to make my second point. So what is Shembe's impact on the Zulu people? This is what he came to say. All the spirits, good and bad, are all pressing on towards that umbuso wezulu, heaven and earth. People are encouraged to light the lamps of those who have lost their souls, the nepeshes in Hebrew, in the process. So there's a ritual that's done by Nazarite, Batu Kanisi Ban, where you, as a token, you light the lamp of those who are Obangasek, or those who are asleep in death, those who have lost their bodies. You allow them and you commission them to make interventions, or to be able to continue in their interventions on the other side. So you request them to make interventions on your behalf, or you make supplications based on the request they've made from you to say, hey, look, I'm stuck here, this is what I gotta sort out. And then you come and you light their lamp so that they can find their way through, light their way through to find their way towards Mbuso Wezulu. So this is what Nazarite encouraged to practice this ritual. Remember, I mentioned the ritual of baptism in the context of the Jewish people and the Israelites. This is now the practice of recognizing the fact that people don't actually die, even though you've lost your soul. You still, as much as you as a physical person need money to live and to get things done, it is the same thing on the other side. They also need money to be able to move along. So you require to nigela for them, make a contribution for them. So this is quite different to traditional Christianity, where you are giving to the church or you're giving to the pastor or the organization. In this context, you give as a token, as a ritual token, to say, hey, my ancestor, or hey, my people, or those who have gone through the world but are not here anymore, that have passed away, have lost their souls or lost their bodies. Here is supplications. I'm providing supplications for you to be able to get to the final destination. I'm going to point this out now and say, why? A man never really dies. He's simply the continuation of it. Death is simply the continuation of the journey towards Lelo Lizwi, Elizayo, the coming kingdom. There's a dirge by SHEMBES, Kepangi Yatanda, Kepangi Yatanda, Ogolibona, Lelo Lizwi, Elizayo. Kepanyatanda, Lelo Lizwi Eliza. So the heaven in the context of the Zulu people is not necessarily this place like in the Christian sense that your spirit goes to when you die, which is something that Jesus never preached. Jesus always spoke about the heaven and earth. The only thing that he said to the people is that the people must become spirit to enter that kingdom. So only the spirit sons can enter that heavenly kingdom on earth. So now that we're living in the context of the Zulu people who are spiritual sons, right? They are now all pressing on to Lelo Lizwi, the implementation of the heaven and earth that has been promised biblically and that is been seen and witnessed by a few. So this is what I gotta say, and I think this is where I gotta say, yeah, no, this is quite interesting. I hope this is received well. But what I'm trying to point out now is that what do you say to eternal spirits who cannot be killed, who do not die, who you can't tell their beginning, you cannot tell their end, but they are here. Umoya, the spirits of the Zulu, the spirits of the two sons of God, they are here, and what they're all doing is pressing on to lelo lizwi elizayo, a kingdom that is coming. And this is where I want to end this on this note, to say that one of the things that Shembe has said is to say that, hey, look, if I were to show you the kingdom that is coming, or that place where we are all going, that Mizi, that homestead that we are all going, the final destination that we are all going to, I could give you a knife now and you will kill yourself. You wouldn't hesitate to stab yourself. And I don't want to go into too much detail about that, but what I'm saying is that a lot of the things that Shembe said could be misunderstood, because you're saying that you must die to get to that kingdom. Yes, it is true in principle, but not in a literal sense as well. Either way, you must get to a point where you see and fully commit yourself, lose your life, and fully commit yourself to getting there. And that the art really of following, being of Nazarite, is that you start now taking actions that are gonna get us there. You start now living in the right way so that we can be able to get there. And let me point this out. The ultimate principle here is the fact that if we are all pressing on towards that kingdom, good and bad, we need to find a way for us to be able to get to that Elisa. We need to find a way that all spirits must be able to live at some point together in harmony and in peace, without the need of killing each other and putting an end to life, without causing the loss of life. That is the experiment, and that is the hypothesis, or the intended outcome of this life game and life experiment. So this is the impact that Shembe made on the Zulu people who are spirit persons, who are regathered to their people, to their spiritual homestead when they die, and there they serve and continue to serve as ancestors of those who come after them. Now, Shembe comes in and says, no, yes, this process of going to your homestead, we are all of us, even your ancestors and those who are coming after us, are all pressing on to that final Mizi, that final destination, where we, that kingdom of heaven on earth. That is where we are all pressing on towards. So, as compared to the Christian doctrine that just believe in Jesus. If you believe, you go to heaven. If you don't believe, you go to hell. In the context of NAZIRITE and what Shembe's impact on the Zulu people, like, no, live right, learn to live with your brother in harmony and in peace, because ultimately speaking, we all the spirits need to find a way to get to that place where we can live together in harmony and in peace. So this is why I say, from a NAZIRITE point of view, that it's very far where we are going, because we still got a long way to go. If we still gonna find petty reasons to kill each other now and not be able to live with each other in peace now, it means that we still got a long way to go. This is a normal saying that the NAZIRITE would say. The journey is a long journey, and I hear the love of my life saying that her mom came to her in a dream and said, yo man, shoo, I'm just taking a break, goddamn. But yo, we still got a long way to go. So like the image is basically that even those who have went ahead of us are still in the process of trying to get to Lelolizwi. It is that final homestead where all the spirits can find a home and permanent residence. That is the heaven that we are talking about. So you see how this is different to the Christian context, where it's like good people, bad people, hell. Good people, heaven, yay. Who are the good people? Those who believe. Bad people, those who don't believe. Right? But in the context of what Shembe is saying to us, it's saying, no guys, all of us, good or bad, tall or short, all of us spirit persons need to get to that place. We're all on a journey to that place. And I think the deep secret here is that we all gotta go get there together. So you can't have anybody outside. If the people who eventually, when we get there, and eventually there will be people who will be locked out and say, nah, bro, because we can't wait on you anymore. You can insist on being on outside of this movie. You can stay outside with the dogs and sexually immoral. You can stay outside. It's fine. Don't come and defile the house inside. But ultimately, we all going to that meeting, and I'm gonna end it there. Alright, this was actually longer than I thought, but yeah. The next video we're going to is gonna be, now we're jumping into what it is, the vow of Nazirite ship. Sweet.